All right, so you want to jump back into retro gaming, and you're looking at two pretty awesome handhelds, right? The Retroid Pocket 5 and the AYN Odin Mini. Well, you want to know which one comes out on top, and luckily, we've got this article here comparing them, so we can dive into that. Getting to relive those classic games on today's tech, man, that's a killer combo.
Yeah, it really is like the best of both worlds, like nostalgia, but with all the power and convenience we have today.
Exactly. So let's start with the Retroid Pocket 5. It's got that old school feel, but packs some serious modern muscle. It's got a crisp 5.5-inch AMOLED screen and a Snapdragon 865 processor. That was a flagship phone chip just a few years ago. And get this, it can run both Android and Linux.
That dual operating system is super cool. Imagine battling Bowser in Super Mario World on your commute, and then bam, you just switch over to Android to check your email or the news. All in one device.
Yeah.
Right there in your hand.
Wow, that's gotta be so convenient. Oh, and no more joystick drift with this thing. It uses those Hall effect joysticks.
Yeah, those are awesome. Remember how frustrating it was when your old controller would start drifting, your character moving even when you weren't touching anything? Hall effect joysticks, they use magnets instead of physical contact, so they're super precise and they last forever.
That's a total game changer, especially for someone like me who's always rough on my gadgets. Speaking of which, what about battery life? How long can you actually game on this thing?
The Retroid Pocket 5 has a huge 5,000 milliamp battery. You're looking at around 6 to 8 hours of playtime, depending on what you're running. And don't forget, this thing can emulate some pretty demanding systems. PSP, GameCube, even some PS2 titles.
And it can do all that for just $219. That's a steal. Amazing features, impressive emulation, long-lasting battery, and it's affordable. Now I'm really curious, can the AYN Odin Mini match that? Okay, so the Retroid Pocket 5 sounds amazing, especially for the price. But what about the AYN Odin Mini? What makes that one special?
Well, if the Retroid Pocket 5 is like the reliable daily driver, the AYN Odin Mini is more like a sleek sports car. It's all about pushing the limits of power and performance.
Okay, I like where this is going. Tell me more.
Imagine playing a Game Boy Advance game, but the colors are so vibrant, so crisp. It's like you're seeing them for the first time. That's what the AYN Odin Mini's Mini LD display can do.
Mini LED. I've heard that term, but what's so special about it?
It's a step above even AMOLED. Think deeper blacks, brighter whites, and a much wider range of colors. It's like watching a movie on an old TV versus seeing it in a high-end theater.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So it's perfect for bringing those retro games to life.
Exactly. And it's not just the display. The AYN Odin Mini also has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. That's a beast when it comes to performance.
We're talking top of the line, right? Like what you'd find in the latest phone.
Exactly. This thing can handle pretty much anything you throw at it, even some Nintendo Switch games.
Wait, Switch games? Seriously?
Yeah. It won't run every game perfectly, but it can handle a surprising number of them. Of course, all that power generates some heat. That's why it has a built-in active cooling system.
Yeah, so no overheating, no performance drops. That's impressive. What about the battery life, though? How does it compare to the Retroid Pocket 5?
It's got the same 5,000 mAh battery, but the big difference is the 65W fast charging. You can charge this thing up in no time.
Okay, so we've got a gorgeous mini LED display, powerful processor, active cooling, and fast charging. This AYN Odin Mini sounds like a serious contender. But all this tech must come at a price, right?
Yeah, the base model starts at $339. It's definitely more expensive than the Retroid Pocket 5. But you're getting a lot for that extra money. It's choose between a high-quality car and a luxury sports car. Both are great, but the experience and the cost are different.
That's a good way to put it. So if someone's deciding between these two handhelds, what are the key things they should consider?
Well, first you've got to think about your budget. The Retroid Pocket 5 is a fantastic value, while the AYN Odin Mini is a premium device with a premium price tag.
Right, and then I guess it comes down to what you want to do with it, your gaming priority.
Exactly. If you're looking for something versatile, that can play a ton of retro and even modern games, and you want something affordable and customizable, then the Retroid Pocket 5 is a great choice.
But if you want the absolute best visual experience, and you want to play the most demanding games, then the AYN Odin Mini with its mini LED display and crazy processor might be the way to go.
It's all about finding the right balance between features, performance, and price. What do you think so far? What stands out to you about each device?
Man, they both sound incredible. That Retroid Pocket 5, the versatility and the price are so tempting. But that AYN Odin Mini with the mini LA screen and all that power, it's hard to resist that. It's like, I don't know, choosing between being practical and just indulging
Yeah,
yourself.
it's a tough choice. The reliable workhorse versus the high-end experience.
Right, so I guess it really comes down to what kind of retro gaming experience are you after? Is it reliving those old favorites on a budget? Or is it seeing them with the best visuals and performance possible?
And remember the customization aspect we talked about. The Retroid Pocket 5 has a huge community of people modding and tweaking their devices.
Yeah, people are swapping shells, installing custom firmware. It's really cool.
It is. It reminds me of the old days when you could really get hands-on with your consoles. It's not just about playing the games. It's about being part of a community and seeing how far you can push things.
So with the Retroid Pocket 5, you're not just getting a handheld. You're getting this whole community of people who love to tinker.
Exactly. The AYN Odin Mini, on the other hand, it's more about that polished, out-of-the-box experience. It's ready to go from the moment you turn it on.
Yeah, and you're paying for that premium experience, both in terms of price and I guess the lack of that DIY aspect. It's less about tinkering and more about just enjoying what's already there. Like the difference between restoring a vintage car yourself or buying a brand new sports car.
Nice analogy. Two very different paths to satisfaction.
So where does all this leave us? Is there a clear winner in this retro handheld showdown?
You know, I wouldn't say there's a clear winner. Both the Retroid Pocket 5 and the AYN Odin Mini have their strengths. It all comes down to what you need and what you're looking for.
Well, it's been awesome taking a deep dive into these two handhelds and seeing how retro gaming has evolved. There are so many options out there these days. It's really a great time to be a retro gamer.
It really is. This deep dive just goes to show that retro gaming is alive and well. It's not just about nostalgia anymore. It's about passion, community, and pushing the limits of what's possible.
I can't wait to see what kind of amazing handhelds come out next. So as you're thinking about which one to get, just remember, the most important thing is finding the one that brings you the most joy. The one that lets you experience those classic games the way you want to.
Absolutely. And once you've made your choice and you're off on your retro adventures, don't forget to share your experiences with us. We want to hear what you're playing and what you're discovering.
Yeah. Until then, happy gaming, everyone.